today is a 3-day weekend for many of you. But throughout the next 40 minutes or so, we'll learn about how your support of the foundation is cultivating student potential, and how your support today can help students immediately. I am Parfait Basile, and my wife, Karima, and I have 3 students in the school district. I have a 7th grader at Washington Middle School, and I have a 5th grader who's super excited to be at the top of the food chain at McKinney Elementary. And I have my daughter who started kindergarten this year at McKinney Elementary as well. Professionally, I wear many hats, including singer-songwriter, author, and belonging strategist. The singing dove on the actual hat that I'm wearing is not just a logo for my consulting business. It is actually an open invitation, a call to befriend and be an unexpected friend to one another. I'm honored to be this year's MC, not only because I used to be on the Foundation Board of Trustees, where I was really proud to work with them on the importance of fostering a sense of belonging in our schools, but also because I wholeheartedly believe in all the work they're doing as a nonprofit friend to Olympia School District. Work that would not be possible without the support of each one of you here today. And work that is also strengthened by our elected officials, who so often are advocates for students. I would love and like to acknowledge them, those who are in our midst today, so please hold your applause until the end as I recognize our distinguished guest this morning. Lieutenant Governor Denny Heck, 22nd Legislative District Representative Beth Doglio, Thurston County Commissioner Ty Menser, and Olympia School Board member Maria Flores. The Foundation's work is also made possible thanks to generous local families and businesses. So please hold your applause until the end as I share who they include. Jonathan, Patricia, and Cameron Saib. The Gold family, Bob Heck, Kylie Jorgens Wealth Management, Commencement Bank, the official bank of the Principal's Emergency Fund, and Peak Credit Union. WSECU and Browsers Bookshop, Help Us Move in Thurston County, which has provided a $10,000 grant to help keep students and families housed or support the cost of moving into housing. The Hagen Foundation, which supported the Oli Education Foundation last spring through its Building Brighter Futures Together campaign. And finally, a huge shout out to Rochelle Potter and her husband Gary. He once again stayed up all night to provide all of us with fresh left bank pastries. Please give it up to them. As I make my way back to the room after the session, I just want to make sure there are some Queen Amens left. And to Amber Goods Coffee for making sure we are caffeinated this morning. So these are just a few of the Foundation's sponsors and supporters. Please, I invite you to review your event program to see numerous others. Students are at the heart of all the Foundation's work, and students have made significant contributions today's event. They are running the lights, sound, and slideshow. At the end of the program, you'll see them at each doorway with boxes to collect donations. Yes, no free pastries. And perhaps the most coveted job today, they'll be serving the aforementioned pastries and coffee at the conclusion of our program. Thanks to all of the students who are giving back to the foundation today with their time. I also feel fortunate to share the stage with some amazing students who are my co-MCs this morning. Please join me in welcoming Alaji and Sophia to the stage.
Thank you, Parfait, and good morning, everyone. My name is Alaji Jallo, and I am a sophomore here at Capital High School.
Thank you, Laji. My name is Sophia Phillips, and I am also a sophomore at Capital High School.
We first want to recognize all of the school staff who are here this morning, especially because it's a day off for them. Please give them all a round of applause.
And we want to remind you that not only is this event a celebration, it's also a fundraiser. Your program should include an envelope, which I urge you to fill with a generous check before you leave this morning so you can help cultivate a student's potential.
Or if you're like Sophia and me, and you don't write checks, you can use the QR code, which is now and will continue to be displayed throughout the venue this morning.
What's really exciting for donors today is that the foundation received a $10,000 matching gift from Chris and Lori Hopper. This means if we can raise $10,000 by the end of today, any gift you make will be doubled.
Your gift today will support students in every single school in the district through the Principal's Emergency Fund, which we'll talk about later this morning, and student and community well-being efforts, which give educators, families, and caregivers tools to better support their students.
You will also help make possible opportunity grants, which fund experiences that our schools don't often have ample budgets for, such as musical instruments, art projects, PE equipment, assemblies, and library books.
Speaking of books, it's time to give away the first award of the morning.
And for that, we'd like to invite Noah to the stage.
Shrestha, and I'm a 7th grader at Jefferson Middle School. While the Foundation's Board of Trustees voted on this year's Students' Champions, they thought it would be fitting for a student with a connection to the winners to make the announcement. So here I am. This award honors employees in our schools who further the Foundation's mission to cultivate student potential and whose work reflects its core values. The Foundation's board felt strongly that this year we celebrate books and that we honor the people in our schools who, among many other things, select, organize, and maintain them. I'm pleased to share that this year's Students' Champions Award goes to all of the district's teacher librarians. Those of you who are able to, please stand to be recognized. Special announcement. In partnership with Browser's Bookshop, the Olympia Education Foundation is excited to sponsor the 2026 Battle of the Books so that every school in the district can participate. For those who have never heard of Battle of the Books, or BOB for short, it's an opportunity for students to team up, read a curated list of books, then compete to answer detailed questions. It's kind of like a game show. I participated in Bob last year at Jefferson, so trust me when I say that students love it. On behalf of students, I want to thank the foundation for their support, which includes purchasing all of the books that students will be reading this year.
Please give it up to Noah. Thank you. What a great job. I believe we now have another award to announce, and to do so, I would like to call up to the stage Lieutenant Governor Denny Heck and Paula Heck.
That says Sophia. So parfait, when you take the script away. Good morning, I'm Denny Heck. In 2008, my wife Paula, she who must be obeyed, and I, along with other community members who are here this morning, launched the Principal's Emergency Fund, a resource, as you all know, that allows school staff to immediately assist students who have urgent basic needs. We coined a phrase, I love this: see the need, meet the need. In a moment, we'll hear from just a few of the people who can speak to how critical this support has been for students. Your turn.
Thank you, dear. Denny and I are here this morning to present the Friends of... It's always helpful. Friends of the Foundation Award to a family that has gone above and beyond to support the Foundation's mission to cultivate student potential, among other things. This has included supporting the Principal's Emergency Fund and this event since its creation 17 years ago.
Jim Justin walked into our living room and we cut this deal, Jim. Do you remember that, Jim?
Very much.
So, Paul and I are pleased to announce that this year's Friends of the Foundation, and I cannot exaggerate to you how gratifying it is to do this since they are dear friends. Jonathan and Patty Sy. Come on up, Patty.
Let's find my spot now. Thank you, Denny and Paula, and congratulations to Jonathan and Patty. We are now going to shift gears, and I would like to invite to the stage our panelist and moderator to take their places on the stage for conversation. Amelia, Sean, Anthony, Jennifer. Several references have already been made this morning to the Principal's Emergency Fund, and for good reason. As Denny shared, this amazing resource allows school staff in every single building to immediately assist students who have urgent basic needs, including clothing, school supplies, toiletries, eyeglasses, vouchers that allow them to purchase gas or food from local businesses, assistance with rent so they are not traumatized from being evicted from their home, and so much more. There is no red tape with this resource. It's as simple as see a need, support a need. Over the years, we've heard from school staff who have shared without exaggeration that the Principal's Emergency Fund has been the difference between a student attending school from being chronically absent. That access to it impacts whether a student graduates or drops out of high school. Typically, the Principal's Emergency Fund supports students who meet the federal definition of poverty, roughly 1/3 of the district's enrollment. Enough to fill every seat in this theater 6 times. In addition, there are at least 300 students in the district who lack stable nighttime housing. Let's hear more from just a few of the school staff who are supporting students with the Principal Emergency Fund.
Now I'm on. Hello. Thank you, Parfait. Good morning. My name is Amelia Layton. I'm a foundation trustee, and I'm the chair of this event. Unlike most of my fellow trustees, I don't have a direct personal tie to the district. I'm not an alum, I don't have any children, and I don't work or volunteer in the schools. Often this makes people kind of curious about what draws me to volunteer here. My short answer is this. I used to work in youth program development, and I was a teaching artist to middle schoolers across Tacoma. So I know what it's like for kids in our buildings in Olympia. And I know what a massive difference just a little bit of extra help can make in a student or family's life. I know how removing barriers to participation in a club or sport can change the trajectory of a student's life. And I've also seen how hunger is also a primary barrier for a student to show up fully to participate in learning. All of these things the PEF can support. Now that you know a little bit about me, I'd like for each of our panelists to quickly introduce themselves, and then we'll get onto why the Principal's Emergency Fund is so impactful. Sean, let's start with you. Tell us where you work, what your job is, and a very short little bit about the students you serve.
Quickly is not a strong suit of mine. But good morning, everybody. Hi, my name is Sean Shaughnessy. I am the proud principal at LP Brown Elementary School on the west side of Olympia. I've been an elementary school principal in Olympia for 14 years and have seen the Principal's Emergency Fund since its very inception. So I'm proud to sit up here and hopefully be able to represent the elementary principal experience with the Principal's Emergency Fund.
Hi, my name is Jen Gould, and I am an OSD school social worker, one of 4 in the district. I primarily work at Olympia High School and Transitions Academy Center, and my role is to support students, partner with families, reduce barriers. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anthony Brock. I'm blessed to serve as the principal of Thurgood Marshall Middle School. And when I think about our students, I think about Sophia and Elijah, who are now at Capitol, representing all the great things that Mustangs do. When I think about our students, I think about the Battle of the Books, and shout out to our teacher librarian, Cassie White, going to defend our champion this year for Battle of the Books. So that's a little bit about Thurgood Marshall.
Awesome, thank you. So while we were taking the stage, Parfait shared some of the most common ways the Principal's Emergency Fund supports students, and the slide behind us lists spending by category last year. Anthony, let's start with you. Can you tell us about the Principal's Emergency Fund support you've provided to a student that might surprise someone in our audience today, either because it was for something that many of us take for granted, or because it supported a student who is facing especially dire circumstances?
So I see myself reflected in a lot of our students, folks that are reaching out for help from our community. At times was an experience that I had as a student. And so when I think about how we use it, I think a lot of times when students receive help, it's always like the most basic version. It's like, hey, we can provide school supplies for you, but we're gonna get you the cheapest binder that we can find you. And so when I think about some of the work we're able to do with the Principals Fund, it's things like a student asked me the other day for a food bag, and they just wanted to take a food bag home and said, Mr. Brock, can I get an extra food bag this week? And I was like, yeah, we got you. And not only do we got you, but we can send you home with a couple of vouchers so that you can actually pick out what you want instead of just receive what is in the bag that all the students that are on that food bag system get. So that's one way that I see it happening week after week after week, impacting students.
Thank you. Jennifer?
All of these things up here we're doing, I think it's I have a couple of examples of other places where the PEF has supported us. At Ole, we have a community closet that is stocked with gently used and new clothing. We had a gap in what we had to offer students, and we didn't have inclusive clothing for everyone. And we took a step back and looked at it and leaned on the PEF to help us fill that gap so that every single student could walk into that space and be seen and be supported. My second example is that we have had the opportunity to put some additional funds, some PEF funds, into students' lunch accounts. So students who are eligible for free lunch, they get free lunch and breakfast, amazing, awesome, but they don't get to participate in the snack shack in middle school, or they don't get to participate in the a la carte line at the high schools. And this last year, we were able to put some funds in there and give students some agency in what they wanted to be like their peers, get the ice cream on Fridays, and a little funding piece, huge impact.
Thank you. Sean?
I see a need, meet a need, is my example this morning. Close your eyes for a second and put yourself in the shoes of an elementary school parent. It's fall time in the elementary school and school pictures are happening. And there's nothing more that you want than a school picture of your kid every year all the way through so that when they graduate, you can be the one that's showing their progression all the way through their school experience. And I had a mom come to me just a week ago, 2 weeks ago, recently, and asked me to take all of her 4 kids and put them in the same picture together. Because as everything has increased in price, so have school pictures, and it's, a minimum of $20 per kid to get the school photos. So in that moment, I saw a need and I met a need, and I took the individual photos of each of her children and was able to provide a picture packet to her for each of the kids.
Thank you. That's huge. So can each of you share something that you have been able to do for a student thanks to the Principal's Emergency Fund that made you especially appreciative of these resources, although I'm sure you were in each of those instances that you just mentioned. Jennifer.
I find myself especially appreciative of this resource when the situations or the scenarios that we're working on are complicated and complex. For example, I had a student who was unhoused and living in her vehicle and needed some car repairs, and I had to navigate figuring out how to find a mechanic, how to get estimates. I mean, these are like complex situations. But I knew that my Principal's Emergency Fund, I knew that Mr. Grant, we were teaming this, that he would support me when that time came. So as we worked on this complex situation and figuring out how we were actually do this, I knew that the PEF would support that. And that was let me do my job of navigating that resource, but knowing that I had that as an available resource. Those are the times where I'm like, whew, this is amazing. I have this resource readily available.
Thank you. Sean? We're going to go to you.
And complex situations, I think, is what I'll reiterate. But the thing that I'm most thankful about in today's current world for this fund is the ability to keep students and families housed. I have so many examples of this fund being used to help keep a roof over a kid's head. And that, I mean, there's no greater gift that we can provide.
Thank you. Anthony?
Sure thing. When I think of some of the challenges our community and society faces, I think about that list that was on this board of all the different spots that the Principals Fund is hitting. And specifically for me, I think about the medical. I experienced a significant injury this year, and anytime there's an unplanned medical expense, I think that is one of the things in society that's hard, and it's one of the things that's really hard on families, specifically when it's a kid. It's somebody who's healthy. They're 11, 12 years old. They shouldn't be having medical challenges. And so when a family is in this crisis of just what's the next step, waiting for doctors to report, waiting for tests to come back, and that ability to have this need, whether it's food, whether at the hospital, whether it's helping pay things like the copay for a family where it's like, how much is a copay? Like, isn't insurance supposed to cover that? Like, those are the times where this Principals Fund is so helpful. And I'm so grateful that I'm in a position because of everyone's support to help our families in need.
Thank you. How do you think your school climate or educational outcomes would be impacted if the Principals Emergency Fund did not exist? Sean, will you start us off here?
I'll talk about climate, school climate. I think that the Principals Emergency Fund, having been around since 2008, has had a significant impact on the culture of our schools. I think that what it's done is it has helped our school take a more holistic approach to raising the kids in our building every year. What I watch is, as people in the building know about the Principals Emergency Fund and the ways that it helps support families, I find my whole staff wrapping around kids to look for ways to take care of them in ways that go beyond academic learning in the classroom.
Thank you. Anthony, you want to go?
Sure thing. I think the first primary role of schools, I think, is around learning. It's our job to help our students learn. In a lot of ways, we think of mathematics, we think of science, and that is all really important. But when somebody's in need, we have to support them. And that's our job to teach that from our staff, from our students. And so I love what Lieutenant Governor Heck said, see a need, meet a need. And that to me is the work that we're doing, is to always teach our students that when we see somebody in need, we help and we support. Even when it feels like, and I love our middle schoolers, but sometimes it feels like they don't deserve it. Like they're like, oh, they're pushing us. And they said, in this moment, when you might be talking back to me, I'm gonna love you, and we're gonna meet that need.
Thank you.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that we show up for every day, those students that push back, but depend and learn to navigate these resources and with us. I think about the educational outcomes and the access to PEF, particularly because we use the vouchers to build some rapport with families. Often if a family or a student is not connected to school, and partly because they have all these barriers happening. They've got housing insecurity, they have food insecurity. School is not on the top of their list. If we can partner with them and build relationships with families, build relationships with students, we will see them in the buildings. If we see them in the buildings, they will be going to math class. If they go to math class, they will build a rapport with their teacher. This is where I feel like the PEF and the vouchers and all of the resources gives us a tool to build connection, to build a space of belonging, to let people be seen for where they're at, not where we think they should be in our buildings or how they're, but to truly lean into how we see them as people in our community. And I use this as opens doors for us. The PEF opens doors for us to support all these kids inside of our building, ultimately changing their education trajectory.
Thank you. Sean. Did I started you. I'm sorry. I got lost.
I can tell another story.
I'm gonna let you tell another story in just a second.
Brief.
In just
Go
a
ahead,
second.
moving on.
So last question. Without sharing any identifying details about the student, can you please share a student success story, perhaps related to a student's shift in self-esteem, participation in school, or graduation from school, that wouldn't have been possible without the principal's emergency fund? And let's start with Anthony.
Sure thing. I have a student who kind of bounces back and forth between a couple of spots, and sometimes he's enrolled with us or in another spot. And so this year when we started, I didn't think that student was coming back to Thurgood Marshall. And the family had reached out and said, hey, my kiddo's in need of some shoes. And I was grateful because we were able to do that. And they said, hey, let's meet at the store. Forget shoes. Like, let's get shoes. Let's get you a couple of pairs of pants. Let's get you some things. And it allowed that kid to come back to re-enroll. But the best part about it was when it was time to deliver those items, we went over to this apartment complex, and I was able to deliver those. But then there was probably 15 of our kiddos that were outside playing basketball. There's another community organization there providing dinner. And it was like, what are you doing here, Mr. Brock? Why are you here? It's like, okay, say what's up. And so it's this idea to build community as we support. Showing up for each other is our community, and that's something I'm grateful for.
When I think about the stories and the journeys of our students, I particularly lean towards thinking about and talking about our unaccompanied youth during their senior year. I mean, here we've got the elementary and middle school, and it's like that senior year for a youth impacted by housing instability and just really wanting to get that diploma is kind of is where I'm going to talk about my story. So, and I'm going to share a story, but these are students that we're working with now. These are students that we are across all of our buildings, that we have students that are in this situation. I have a student that I worked with last year who I got to know because they became an unaccompanied youth due to the loss of a parent. And when I initially met them, I didn't know them, but I gave them space to grieve a bit, built some trust. They were like, okay, I'm gonna come back and see you. And we began our journey together. We met every Friday for the duration of last school year. And the things we did, we worked on medical. We learned how to get health insurance. We learned how to pay rent. They had to pay rent. They had to navigate the FAFSA completion. They had to apply to college. They had to look for scholarships. When they applied for food benefits and the food benefits didn't kick in for a month, we had a grocery voucher. When their car needed gas and they needed to get to the play practice because they were so involved, we had gas vouchers. PEF partnered with me as I partnered with the youth to get to that graduation mark. And that student came back to see me 2 weeks ago, maybe popped in to see Mr. Grant too, because they were heading off to college. And they said to me, I remember that, that spreadsheet, we had a spreadsheet, a shared spreadsheet. They're like, I'm taking that spreadsheet with me. And I said, yeah, you have to, and the title of our spreadsheet was one step at a time. And we literally just, this is what we do in this work. The PEF Fund partners with us on one step at a time for families, one pair of shoes at a time, one community visit at a time. So I'm really grateful to be here to share that story and to also know that we're doing this work yesterday at our building to get students graduated with those with the resources. So thank you.
That's incredible. Thank you. And lastly, Sean.
Okay, one more story. Y'all are doing a really good job. I have a story about a fifth grade girl right now. Huge issues. This girl she is a shining light in our world. She comes from a single parent household. They're there below the poverty line. She has, in previous years, had all kinds of horrific issues with attendance and school participation. This girl is smart. She can do anything in this whole world that she puts her mind to. She has never been connected to anything. Really, she hasn't been connected to anything. This past summer, our family liaison, Genevieve Carnes, took the opportunity to help get this girl connected through the summer months. She enrolled this little girl in a basketball camp. And the girl has never, like I said, never participated with anything outside the home. She rocked basketball camp like nobody has rocked basketball camp. And it's changed her. So the PEF paid for basketball camp, that was it. And this girl came to school this year is a changed being. She comes to school every day. She dresses with pride in a way that I've never seen. She is engaging with other kids. She's teaching basketball on the playground like she's done it for her whole life. Watching the light and the spirit in this girl lift up through something as simple like this little catalyst was the basketball camp, and I've watched it completely change her persona. This girl she goes nowhere but up from here, and the PEF is the catalyst for this little girl's life moving forward. So thank you for your donations today.
Thank you. Thank you all for sharing why the Principal's Emergency Fund is so important and how a donor can make a significant impact on a student by making a gift to the foundation today. Also, I just want to, my little spiel about why I do this work, all of those answers are why I do this work. This is important, and it means a lot to me, even as a person who doesn't have kiddos and doesn't volunteer in these schools. Now more than ever, we need to build that community. So thank you all. And we can give them a round of applause. You're welcome to go back to your seat. So now I believe our students have one more award to give away this morning, so let's turn it back to them.
I'm getting there, don't worry. The Hex Hero Award is named for Denny and Paula Heck. Let's recognize them for understanding the need for the Principal Emergency Fund in the Olympia School District and for making this resource possible.
A Hex Hero is someone who goes out of their way to support students with the Principal's Emergency Fund. And this year's Hex Hero is Daniel Grimm.
After 26 years working for the Olympia School District, Mr. Grimm retired this past June. He spent 23 of those years here at Capital High School.
Even in his retirement, he can't seem to keep himself away from his school and the students he cares so deeply for. Congratulations, Mr. Grimm.
Congratulations. Let's recognize these incredible students. One more time. It's so great. All right, folks. We've reached that point of the program where I'm going to ask for your help. This morning, we've heard about the Principal Emergency Fund and some of the other work the foundation is doing to cultivate student potential. I'm here to remind you that you have an opportunity to cultivate student potential too. A gift of $60 can immediately help cover a student's urgent basic needs. This includes personal hygiene items, food for the weekend, laundry vouchers, school supplies, and eviction prevention support. What's more, your gift helps ensure that a student shows up to school with dignity, confidence, and the ability to focus on learning. There's more information on the outside flap of your envelope. But if you have more than $60 to give today, consider supporting 2 students, or 5 students, or 10, or more. If you don't have $60 today, please consider giving a smaller amount. Maybe on an ongoing monthly basis. $5 a month will support 1 student over the course of the school year. $10 will support 2 students. Students will be collecting envelopes at doorways throughout the building this morning. Remember, any gift you make today will not only be put to good use, it will be doubled thanks to Chris and Lori Hopper's generous matching gift. Your gift will immediately support a student who needs support through the Principal's Emergency Fund and all of the foundation's work to cultivate student potential. District staff, you may not know this, but you have the opportunity to make monthly gifts of any amount through automatic payroll deduction. There's more information available through the QR code on the screen behind me, and there's also more information in the lobby if you're curious about that. And if you think that $1 out of your monthly paycheck can't possibly make a difference, consider this. If every employee in the district came together as a community and said, yes, I want to donate $1 from my paycheck each month, that would add up to $18,000 additional dollars of support for students. Finally, anyone who makes a gift of any amount or signs up for automatic payroll deduction today will walk out of here with this cool tote bag. Look at that. Yes, you can applaud. And this tote bag is from Browser's Bookshop, who made it possible. Thank you to the owner, Andrea Griffith, for your continued generosity. Okay. The Principal's Emergency Fund, as you've heard through the stories, help foster a sense of belonging. How? Research tells us that belonging is an outcome of feeling connected in a setting, feeling supported, feeling cared for, and feeling a sense of psychological safety. When students' needs are met, when they feel cared for by the community, they're set up for flourishing. And so this is what your donation can do. It can give principals and other school staff the opportunity to be an unexpected friend to a student. So before we make our way to the lobby for pastries and coffee, I would like to close our time together with a song that I wrote. And yes, it is okay to donate while I'm singing the song. While I sing the song, a little bit about the song, it's about the power of befriending, which simply put, is movement towards the other. Unexpected acts of courage, curiosity, and compassion that disrupt the narrative of us versus them. The song invites us to choose proximity when distance feels safer, to listen before defending or critiquing, to dignify even when we disagree, to believe that we can still build something together as a community, and this for the sake of our children. Yeah, whoa. You won't let go when I'm drowning in my sorrow. You won't let go when it seems there is no hope. You won't let go when the clock says time's up. You won't let go. You call my name each time I lose my mind, all alone with no aim. You hold my hand, pull me from the ground and help me find a stand. As I lay me down in your arms, I'm safe and sound, although disarmed. My head you crown with hope, I rebound. You never let me go, you won't let go. You never let me go, you won't let go. Life's losses and gains, although they rock my world, I know your love remains. As I wake up each morning to face my fears and foes, I know how the story ends. As I lay me down in your arms, I'm safe and sound, although disarmed. My head you crown with hope, I rebound. You never let me go, you won't let go. You never let me go, you won't let go. No, you won't let go. When I'm drowning in my sorrow, you won't let go. When it seems there is no hope, you won't let go. When the clock says time's up, you won't let go. Oh no, you won't let go. When I'm drowning in my sorrow, you won't let go. When it seems there is no hope, you won't let go. When the clock says time's up, you won't let go. Have a wonderful morning. On that note, thank you again for being here. Thank you to everyone for your donations. Enjoy the amazing pastries and have a lovely day and weekend ahead.